I'm Dr. James Whitaker, and today we're addressing a topic that affects millions of men but is rarely discussed openly: rediscovering pleasure and intimacy after 60. If you've noticed changes in your sexual response, decreased desire, or feel like your best intimate years are behind you, I want you to know that this couldn't be further from the truth. The silent crisis in men's sexual health after 60 months. After 2 decades of treating men's health issues, I can tell you that the majority of my patients over 60 believe their sexual lives are essentially over. They've accepted decreased pleasure, reduced sensitivity, and diminished performance as inevitable consequences of aging. But here's what most men don't understand. These changes aren't just about getting older. The truth is that most age-related sexual decline is preventable and often completely reversible with the right knowledge and approach. Today, I'm going to share everything you need to know about not just maintaining, but actually enhancing your capacity for pleasure and intimacy well into your golden years. Understanding what really changes after 60. Let's start by understanding what actually happens to the male body after 60, because separating fact from fiction is crucial for developing effective solutions. First, testosterone levels naturally decline by about 1 to 2% per year after age 30, but this gradual decrease shouldn't eliminate sexual desire or function entirely. Second, blood circulation efficiency decreases, which affects the hydraulic mechanism of erections. However, this doesn't mean erectile function has to disappear. It just means we need to work smarter to maintain optimal blood flow. Third, nerve sensitivity can diminish over time, but the nervous system remains remarkably adaptable throughout life. With proper techniques and understanding, you can actually enhance sensitivity and discover new pathways to pleasure. The psychological factors most doctors ignore. What many physicians fail to address are the psychological factors that often contribute more to sexual decline than physical aging. Performance anxiety becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you worry about sexual performance, the worse it becomes. Many men develop what I call sexual retirement syndrome. They preemptively withdraw from intimate experiences because they fear disappointment or embarrassment. This withdrawal creates a downward spiral where lack of sexual activity leads to further decline in function. Social conditioning also plays a massive role. Our culture promotes the myth that sexuality is primarily for the young, leaving older men feeling inappropriate or even ashamed for maintaining sexual desires and needs. Recent neuroscience research has revealed fascinating insights about pleasure in the aging brain. The neural pathways responsible for pleasure don't simply deteriorate with age. They can be strengthened and even rewired through conscious practice and proper stimulation. Dr. Barry Komisarik's groundbreaking research at Rutgers University has shown that the brain's pleasure centers remain highly plastic throughout life. Men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s can develop enhanced capacity for pleasure by understanding how to engage their nervous systems more effectively. The key is understanding that pleasure after 60 isn't about recreating your 20-year-old experience. It's about discovering a more mature, nuanced, and potentially more satisfying form of intimacy. Physical foundations for enhanced pleasure. Let's discuss the physical foundations that support optimal sexual function and pleasure after 60. Cardiovascular health is absolutely critical. Your sexual organs depend on robust blood flow to function properly. Regular aerobic exercise, particularly activities that promote pelvic circulation, can dramatically improve sexual response. The Mediterranean diet has been shown in multiple studies to improve erectile function and overall sexual health in men over 60. Foods rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and nitric oxide precursors directly support sexual health. Subscribe to the channel right now. If you're finding this information valuable, I share life-changing men's health secrets every week that could transform your intimate life and overall vitality. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss crucial information that could restore your confidence and pleasure. The pelvic floor, your hidden power source. One of the most overlooked aspects of male sexual health is the pelvic floor muscle group. These muscles, which form a supportive hammock at the base of your pelvis, are crucial for erectile function ejaculatory control, and orgasmic intensity. Most men over 60 have significantly weakened pelvic floor muscles due to years of sitting, lack of specific exercise, and general physical inactivity. However, targeted pelvic floor exercises can restore strength and function remarkably quickly. The pubococcygeus muscle, in particular, is responsible for the rhythmic contractions during orgasm. Strengthening this muscle can lead to more intense, longer-lasting orgasms and better overall sexual control. Breathing, the gateway to enhanced sensation. Proper breathing technique is perhaps the most underutilized tool for enhancing sexual pleasure. Most men breathe shallowly and hold their breath during sexual activity, which actually diminishes sensation and pleasure. Deep, conscious breathing increases blood flow throughout the body, including to sexual organs. It also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that's essential for sexual arousal and pleasure. Tantric and Taoist sexual practices have long emphasized breathing as the foundation of enhanced pleasure. These ancient techniques are now being validated by modern neuroscience research. Mindfulness and present moment awareness. One of the most powerful tools for rediscovering pleasure after 60 is mindfulness, the practice of maintaining present moment awareness without judgment. Sexual pleasure is fundamentally about being present with physical sensations, but many men get trapped in their heads worrying about performance or comparing current experiences to past ones. Mindfulness training can dramatically enhance sexual pleasure by helping you focus on actual sensations rather than anxious thoughts. Research shows that men who practice sexual mindfulness report significantly higher levels of arousal, pleasure, and satisfaction. The touch revolution, relearning your body. After decades of familiar patterns, many men have lost touch with their body's capacity for varied pleasure. The skin is your largest organ, packed with nerve endings that can provide intense pleasure when properly stimulated. Exploring different types of touch, varying pressure, speed, temperature, and texture, can awaken dormant nerve pathways and create new pleasure experiences. This isn't just about genital stimulation. The entire body can become a source of pleasure when approached mindfully. Many men discover that slower, more varied touch actually produces more intense sensations than the rapid, goal-oriented techniques they used when younger. Emotional intelligence and intimate connection. Sexual pleasure after 60 often becomes more about emotional and spiritual connection than purely physical sensation. Men who learn to integrate emotional awareness with physical pleasure often report their most satisfying, intimate experiences happening in their later years. This involves developing emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and communicate feelings effectively. Many men were never taught these skills, but they can be developed at any age. Communication becomes crucial for rediscovering pleasure, whether with a partner or in your relationship with yourself. Being able to express desires, preferences, and boundaries clearly enhances every aspect of intimate experience. Leave a comment below and tell me what aspects of rediscovering pleasure interest you most. I read every comment and often create detailed videos based on your questions. Also, share what country you're watching from. I love connecting with men worldwide who are committed to enhancing their intimate lives. The role of fantasy and mental stimulation. The brain truly is your most important sexual organ, and its capacity for creating pleasurable experiences doesn't diminish with age. It can actually become more sophisticated and nuanced. Developing rich, detailed sexual fantasies can enhance arousal and pleasure significantly. Many men over 60 have abandoned fantasy, thinking it's inappropriate or unnecessary. But fantasy serves crucial functions. It maintains neural pathways associated with arousal, provides mental rehearsal for sexual encounters, and can generate physical arousal even when other systems are compromised. The key is developing fantasies that feel authentic and personally meaningful, rather than relying on external stimulation that may not align with your actual desires and experiences. Let's address some common physical challenges that men over 60 face and practical solutions for each. Erectile dysfunction affects approximately 40% of men at age 40 and increases by about 10% each decade. However, this doesn't mean sexual pleasure has to end. There are numerous approaches to maintaining erectile function, from lifestyle modifications and natural supplements to medical interventions. But more importantly, sexual pleasure doesn't require perfect erections. It requires creativity, communication, and focus on overall sensual experience. Premature ejaculation sometimes becomes an issue for men who haven't been sexually active regularly. The good news is that ejaculatory control can be learned and improved at any age through specific techniques and practices. Decreased sensitivity is another common concern. This can often be addressed through technique modifications, the use of appropriate lubricants, and practices that enhance overall nervous system sensitivity. One of the most liberating aspects of rediscovering pleasure after 60 is moving beyond traditional goal-oriented sexuality. Instead of focusing solely on erection and ejaculation, you can explore what I call the pleasure hierarchy, multiple levels and types of pleasurable experience. Physical pleasure encompasses far more than genital stimulation. Full-body sensual awareness, varied touch sensations, temperature play, and even non-touch experiences like breathwork can provide intense pleasure. Emotional pleasure involves the deep satisfaction that comes from intimate connection, vulnerability, and emotional intimacy. Many men discover this becomes more important and accessible as they age. Spiritual pleasure refers to the transcendent experiences that can arise from deep present moment awareness during intimate moments. This isn't necessarily religious. It's about connecting with something larger than immediate physical sensation. The environment where intimate experiences occur plays a crucial role in pleasure quality. This involves both physical and psychological environmental factors that you can control and optimize. Physical environment includes factors like temperature, lighting, comfort, privacy, and absence of distractions. Many men underestimate how much these factors affect their capacity for pleasure and relaxation. Psychological environment involves creating mental and emotional space for pleasure, releasing performance pressure, setting aside concerns about other life issues, and cultivating an attitude of curiosity and exploration rather than achievement. If you have a partner, rediscovering pleasure becomes a shared journey that requires open communication, mutual exploration, and often a willingness to abandon old patterns in favor of new discoveries. Many couples fall into predictable routines over decades together. Breaking these patterns requires conscious effort and communication, but can lead to the most satisfying intimate experiences of your relationship. If you don't currently have a partner, this doesn't mean your pleasure journey is limited. Self-exploration and solo intimate experiences can be profoundly satisfying and serve as excellent preparation for future partnered experiences. One of the biggest obstacles to rediscovering pleasure after 60 is overcoming decades of cultural programming that suggests sexuality is inappropriate or undignified for older adults. This programming can create shame and self-consciousness that directly interferes with pleasure. Challenging these limiting beliefs requires conscious effort and often professional support. Sex-positive therapy can be incredibly valuable for men who struggle with shame or guilt around sexuality and pleasure. Remember that sexual pleasure is a natural, healthy part of human experience throughout life. You have every right to pursue and enjoy intimate pleasure, regardless of your age. Let's talk about the health benefits of maintained sexual pleasure. Maintaining an active, pleasurable, intimate life provides numerous health benefits that extend far beyond the bedroom. Regular sexual activity and pleasure support, cardiovascular health, immune function, stress management, and overall emotional well-being. Sexual pleasure releases beneficial hormones including oxytocin, endorphins, and growth hormone, while reducing stress hormones like cortisol. These hormonal changes support healing, recovery, and overall vitality. The social and emotional benefits of maintained intimate connection contribute to longevity, mental health, and quality of life in measurable ways. Let me share some specific practical techniques that can immediately enhance your capacity for pleasure. The stop-start technique helps build awareness of arousal levels and can enhance both control and intensity of eventual release. Edge training involves bringing yourself close to climax and then backing off repeatedly. This builds both physical control and the capacity to experience prolonged, intense pleasure. Whole body breathing during intimate moments increases circulation, enhances sensation, and can lead to more intense and satisfying experiences. Progressive muscle relaxation before intimate activity helps release tension that can interfere with pleasure and arousal. Modern technology offers various tools that can support pleasure rediscovery, from apps that guide breathing and mindfulness practices to devices designed to enhance sensation and function. However, it's important not to become overly dependent on external tools. The goal is to enhance your natural capacity for pleasure, not replace it with artificial stimulation. Rediscovering pleasure after 60 works best as a conscious practice rather than a sporadic activity. This involves setting aside regular time for intimate self-exploration, maintaining physical health practices that support sexual function, and continuously learning about your changing body and its responses. Keep a pleasure journal where you record discoveries, preferences, and insights. This helps you track what works best and continue expanding your pleasure capacity over time. Remember that rediscovering pleasure after 60 is a journey, not a destination. Your body, desires, and capacity for pleasure will continue evolving throughout your life. Embracing this evolution rather than trying to recreate past experiences leads to more satisfaction and discovery. Be patient with yourself as you explore new possibilities. Some techniques and approaches will resonate immediately, while others may take time to develop. The key is maintaining curiosity and openness to new experiences. Start with small, manageable changes rather than trying to transform everything at once. Focus on one area, perhaps breathing techniques or pelvic floor exercises, and develop competence before adding additional practices. Seek professional support when needed. Sex therapists, urologists, and other healthcare providers can offer valuable guidance tailored to your specific situation and needs. Remember that pleasure and intimacy are not privileges of youth. They are fundamental aspects of human experience that remain available throughout life. Your capacity for pleasure may change and evolve, but it doesn't have to diminish. I'm Dr. James Whitaker, and I believe every man deserves to experience deep satisfaction and pleasure regardless of age. The knowledge and techniques I've shared today represent just the beginning of what's possible when you approach intimate health with consciousness, patience, and proper guidance. If this information has been valuable, please like this video and subscribe for more comprehensive men's health guidance. Share this with other men who might benefit from these insights. Together, we can change the conversation about aging and sexuality. What aspect of rediscovering pleasure resonates most with you? Leave a comment and let's continue this important conversation. Your journey toward enhanced pleasure and intimacy can begin today, and your best years may well be ahead of you.